Hey guys, so today's objective is to do some maintenance now that the STI is complete. We're going to change the air filter because it's really dirty, and we're going to do the spark plugs on this car. I'm not sure when they were last done. I don't know the history of the car, but the car has 60,000 miles on it, and I would say it's about time that we change out these spark plugs. Now, I never changed spark plugs out on a Subaru before. If you have any experience with these cars, you know that changing out spark plugs is not exactly difficult, but it is not as straightforward as it is on other cars. I'll show you how to do it and we'll learn together. First thing we're gonna do is check to make sure that the gap is the same across all four plugs. These are factory OEM Subaru plugs and they should already come pre-gapped, but you should always double check that they are all the same across the board. So I have a feeler gauge and we'll check the first one here. I have it set to 0.028 thousandths of an inch. You just want to feel a slight amount of resistance and you know you're good. So all four of these are good. We'll get them installed in the car. Next, we'll begin removing the things that we have to get out of the way in order to access the spark plugs. We'll first start off with the battery. Then on the other side, we'll remove the air box. We'll disconnect the mass airflow sensor here. And then there's one more bolt down here to remove the air box. And then we'll be able to pull it out just like that. As you can see inside, that is nasty, so we'll have to be giving this a full cleaning. So now with that removed, we can begin to see where we have to work. We're gonna have to get down in here. Here's our coil packs. We'll have to pull those off and then we can get to the spark plugs. So what we'll do is we'll take these coil packs off. You need a very skinny wrench to get in here because, as you can see, the frame rail is very close to the coil packs and doesn't give you much space to work with. So this is going to be a 12 millimeter bolt for the coil pack, and they're not going to be on super tight. All right, so now we'll be able to pull the coil pack out. It'll just pop out. We'll move this one up and out of our way. I'll pull this one out while we're there. So next what we'll need is a thin 16 millimeter socket. This is from Koken, as well as this Ratchet. I'll put a link down in the description for you guys if you want to pick it up. Let's do the back one first. And you'll get your extension and socket in there first, and then you'll put your wrench in there. And then once you get it loose enough, you'll remove your wrench, and now you'll spin it the rest of the way out by hand. There we go. All right. So there's one out. It takes a little finagling, but you'll get it out. All right. First new plug going in. Thread it by hand, very nice and gently. And then tighten them up nice and snug. We'll go ahead and remove the other one. There's number 2. And that's it for this side. So we'll reinstall our coil packs. We'll do the back one first. If you need OEM parts for your Subaru, visit my friends at www.subaruonlineparts.com. Here you will find a ton of OEM parts at incredible prices. Use my code SAVE50SHIP at checkout to get 50% off of shipping in the lower 48. Now let's get back to the video. Now this side is a little bit less room. I think I'm going to remove or move this out of the way for the secondary air pump. Next, I'm going to remove this other section of the secondary air pump because it's in the way of getting to the coil packs in the back there. It looks like there's just one bolt down there to take out. Alright guys, so now that we got the secondary air pump out of the way, we moved this part of the secondary air pump to the side. We got our battery out of the way. Now down in there you could finally see the two coil packs we're going to have to remove, and we will get to these spark plugs. These are going to be the harder of the four to get to. Let's get these ones out next. Swing it up to the side. Alright, once you get this one out, there's a trick to it. You have to pull it out and then rotate it 180 degrees towards you. And then you can pull it up and out. I moved you guys out of the way. I just needed an extra room, but I'll show you a method after I get the new one in. But old one out, I'm going to put the new one in next. Alright, that one's out. And the last one going in. Alright, now we'll put the rear coil pack in. Remember, you got to put the bolt towards the firewall. Once the rubber boot is over the spark plug, you can then turn it 180 degrees towards us. Okay, and now the last coil pack going in. Okay. And don't forget to connect the electrical connector right here. Now let's give it a start, make sure our job was done well. Sounds really good. Sounds really good. I'm liking that. Success. All right. Hey guys. All right. So now that the job is done, I thought I would sit down and really kind of explain what I did because it's kind of hard to film. It's a very tight spot, as you can tell. Changing spark plugs on a boxer engine, I've never done before. It is not very easy. It's a bit of a pain. There are probably better tools you can use for the job. I'll show you what I used that helped. Basically, you don't really have much trouble with 3 out of the 4 cylinders. The main issue is that cylinder on the driver's side by the firewall. That is a difficult plug to get to, so I'll show you what I did, and I will link all of these tools down in the description for you so you can pick them up yourself. What I use is a Koken 16mm spark plug click type socket, and I use this Tone 3/8 drive, kind of like smaller extension. So you have your spark plug inside the motor there. You'll probably start at about this length with your spark plug socket and the extension. You'll get it into the cylinder head around your spark plug. And now at this point, you probably will need to use these other smaller extensions. Now this set specifically is designed for you Subaru BRZ and Toyota GR86 owners, because that is even more difficult and less accessible than on the STI. Now, so once you get your spark plug socket and the small extension around the spark plug inside of the cylinder head, you probably don't need both of these small extensions, but you'll get one on there. And now I have this other, it's a Koken 1/4 inch body with a 3/8 drive. Now all of this, I give a shout out to Mr. Subaru 1387 for you know, the tip on these tools. Now I will say Koken does make one with a head that also you can angle. That would be the better tool to get than this one that's just straight, but this one still will work anyway. So you'll get it in there, you'll start loosening your spark plug, and as the spark plug comes out of the cylinder, you'll disconnect your ratchet, and as it gets closer to the frame rail, you'll start removing some of your little step-up extensions. And the good thing about these extensions is you could grab a 17mm wrench, which is what I did, and now you can continue to loosen that spark plug fully out, and you'll be able to move this wrench out of the way, and you have just enough space to pull this socket and spark plug out of the cylinder head and clearing your frame rail. And it would be the reverse, putting them back in. Now when you put them back in, just be very careful. Make sure you do it by hand, because you do not want to cross thread these, especially in such a terrible position to work. So take your time. It can be very frustrating to do this. Like I said, take your time, thread everything in by hand, and you should be good to go. I'll link down in the description all of these tools. Now, I want to go take the car for a little bit of a ride, make sure everything is good. I'll take you guys with me quick.